Hello there and welcome to Disarray, a calm creative corner of YouTube. Today I thought I'd do something a little different in the form of a time lapse, and it's for a piece of work that I made earlier this year for a project called Secret 7, and it's basically a charitable project where they combine arts and music, and artists will basically submit work for 7-inch singles. And this time around I chose Pipes of Peace by the one and only Paul McCartney, because why wouldn't you? He's such an icon, isn't he? You know, I absolutely love the Beatles, so it just felt like the right choice for me. So I've included quite a lot of footage here, so I thought it was best to make a time lapse really, because it was quite an intuitive kind of style of working for me, this one, because I hadn't made any work for quite some time and I didn't really have an idea of what I was doing from the outset, so it goes through various processes really. Basically I couldn't decide which top to give him, because I wanted it to look distinctly like Paul McCartney, but you'll see as this goes on that he's wearing a couple of different outfits, and I opted for a tank top in the end, which was probably a bit of a weird choice because I went for McCartney in his 40s, which was around the time of Pipes of Peace back in the 80s, and of course he wears his iconic tank top in the Magical Mystery Tour films, so they're of two different eras really, but you know, it's what I opted for in the end. So I went for a blue shirt first of all, because this was the outfit he was wearing in the reference image that I was using, but for whatever reason I just didn't really like it in clay form. It was almost a bit too dark really, I don't know, it just wasn't really popping in any way. So as you'll see kind of shortly, I kind of took it apart in the end. So I have submitted to this project a few times in the past, and I made a John Lennon sleeve, who else was there? Jimi Hendrix. And I did a Dave Grohl or Foo Fighters sleeve a few years ago, which was the last project actually, because it hasn't been live for about 4 years. So I have got a video showing how I made Dave Grohl on my channel, and I'll link that below if you're interested. But it went through kind of a similar process, but for whatever reason I find these sleeves quite difficult to make, and I think it's because of the square kind of format really. I tend to prefer working in a rectangle shape because the composition's always a bit easier somehow, and I don't know, perhaps it's because I'm working just with one person, it just seems to be a lot of space to fill in a square. So as you'll see here anyway, I'm working on his iconic tank top, and it's loosely based on the one he wears in Magical Mystery Tour. Very 70s, isn't it, this design? And I'd happily wear this, to be honest. I really like these kind of retro designs. So anyway, I hope you're all doing well. I'm having a bit of an odd time at the moment, I have to say. If you missed my last video, I've basically been diagnosed as autistic, which you know, is quite a lot to process of its own really. You know, there's lots of stuff that I'm just, you know, trying to work through really. And on top of that, I've recently had a diagnosis of mast cell activation syndrome, or MCAS, and it basically explains a whole lot for me. I've had all sorts of weird and wonderful symptoms over the last few years in the form of reactions to all sorts of stuff, food, environments, temperatures, you know, I just get a host of really horrible symptoms. And I've been managing with antihistamines, but it was just getting too much, so I had to book in with a specialist doctor, and she's now put me on some mast cell stabilisers or medication, and I'm finding it all a bit tough going really, because although they are helping with reactions, I'm finding that I'm feeling like a zombie a lot of the time. I've just got real fatigue going on, so yeah, I'm trying to be a bit sort of kind to myself, and trying to work through this. Hopefully it's just a phase until I get used to the medication, but I'm just sort of tinkering around with dosage at the moment to get that good balance of them feeling effective, but not affecting my brain too much. It's I'm sure if you're on any medication yourself, it's something that you've been through as well, but these things are sort of heightened with MCAS. You're just reacting to everything. It's really hard to get that fine balance really, but yeah, hopefully something that I'll get used to in the short term. And incidentally, I've set up a second YouTube channel called Creative Autistic, and it's basically me just trying to work through my autism diagnosis as a late diagnosed person really. Yeah, as I say, there's a lot to process, and I'm finding it kind of helpful really. It's kind of cathartic in many ways, just to kind of offload to the internet. So I'll link to that below. I did want to have a video on there today, but as I say, I'm just too exhausted at the moment, so I'll maybe aim for every other week for a little while until I feel more like myself. So anyway, as you'll see, this has been through quite some stages now, and just going to add on some flowers. It was such a finicky process, all of this. It took me quite a while to complete this piece, and it's probably not my favourite piece that I've done, but I was really happy with it in the end, and I was just pleased to get a likeness really, because that's often the most difficult thing to do with clay work, or certainly my style of clay work. And here it is, all done. Hope you enjoyed it. Give it a like if you got this far, and I'll see you again probably after Easter now. As I say, I'm just trying to be kind to myself, so wishing you all a lovely Easter break if you're celebrating, and yeah, see you again soon. Take care. Bye bye.